Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 4th grade concept of classifying two-dimensional shapes. This is standard 4.6D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 10 of the 2021 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and then we will look at our answers together. So, Maribel drew a shape, and we have some clues here. Exactly one pair of parallel sides, and then no sides are perpendicular. So that's all we have, are parallel and perpendicular. So let's make sure we at least define those two. So we've got parallel. Look at these two L's in parallel. Those two L's in parallel actually are parallel. So they are lines that, two things, they don't intersect, so they never touch, but also they stay the same distance apart. So that's the key. It's not just that they don't touch, they stay the same distance apart. And so we're looking for a shape that has one pair of sides that are parallel, exactly, not two, just one. And then we've got our perpendicular, and that's kind of a larger word. But perpendicular lines are lines, but they intersect, so they do touch, at exactly a specific angle, at a 90-degree angle. So a upside down T is actually our symbol for perpendicular, and look at these, how this line intersects and actually forms two different right angles. I like to think of perpendicular lines that form a right angle or a square corner. So we could call it a right angle, we can call it a square corner, but perpendicular and right angle are tied together because the perpendicular lines form a right angle. So let's look at our shapes. So we've got a trapezoid. So I'm going to draw a trapezoid here. All right, so here is my trapezoid. And I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for parallel. So here's the symbol for parallel. It looks like those two L's. And then here's the symbol for perpendicular lines. So how many parallel lines do I have here? Well, if I'm looking at it, I've got the top and the bottom are parallel. But these two sides are not, because if you were to extend them out like this, you see how they would cross. So we have one pair of parallel lines, and that's actually the definition of a trapezoid. It's a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel lines, and there are no right angles here. So I've got 0, so that's looking pretty good. I've got 0 perpendicular lines. A rhombus, put that here. If you're thinking of pattern blocks, think of like that tan shape or that blue shape. Parallel lines, actually those two sides are parallel and these two sides are parallel. So I've got two pairs of parallel lines, not what I'm looking for, but at least it has 0 pairs of lines that are perpendicular. So a square, we know what a square looks like. So a square actually has everything that we are not looking for. It has parallel sides, but two sets rather than one. But these perpendicular lines, look at these perpendicular lines. All 4 of these lines, as they meet, actually form right angles. So all 4 of them make right angles, 90 degrees, because they're squares and they make square corners. So here's my rectangle, and you're going to find that a rectangle is going to be very similar to what we did with our square. The top and the bottom are parallel. The two sides are parallel, so it's got 2 sets of parallel lines rather than just that one. And then all 4 sides make right angles. The only difference is the side lengths, obviously, are different. With a square, all 4 sides are the same. With a rectangle, with the top and the bottom are the same, and the sides are the same. So looking back at what we say here, we need exactly one pair of opposite sides that are parallel, and none of the sides are perpendicular, and we have our answer as F, trapezoid.